Hello everyone, this is Adam Romansky and I'm making my video for Module 5 to show you how I planned for my lesson plan. So first, one of the resources I used for my CT was the Into Math textbooks or notebooks, whichever one you want to call them. So this was awesome because there's a student version over here and a teacher version. So while I was going along, this is the student version, and I flipped through as I was doing it with the students. I also put this up on the smartboard. But as you can see, I took many post-it notes throughout the pages, and I would write down different questions I should ask. Just different points I should emphasize, what vocabulary I should emphasize. And it was extremely helpful using this book. And as you can see, this is the teacher version. Now, all along the teacher version, it gives me a lot of helpful information to basically let me know when to ask certain questions and what kind of questions. There were some questions that they provided in here, which I didn't love all their questions, but it was definitely helpful because it allowed me to have my own sense of individuality and create my own questions from their examples, and I thought that it went absolutely fantastic. So the next resource, that I used was on the Blackboard website. So I used the standards, the New York State Next Generation Learning Standards link, and this was helpful because the book was actually in Common Core. So the difference between that, obviously, it's like the wording, the vocabulary. So I used these to hone in on the exact kind of vocabulary that I should be using within my lesson. So I thought it was extremely helpful to look at the Next Gen standards rather than the Common Core. Next I used the academic language resource. It was the PowerPoint made, and it was extremely helpful because, so for example, with vocabulary, it helped me because I was able to understand that, like, for these lessons, I had to have super specific vocabulary, and I needed to be using it in certain sentence frames and everything. So specifically for the vocabulary, I had to realize that I needed to post and write down all of the subject-specific vocabulary on my lesson plan, and also then utilize that and show it during my lesson. And then for my syntax, this really helped me on actually using sentence frames for the students. So I would say certain sentence frames, like for example, my first lesson was a shake and spill lesson. And so we would take 5 counters, red and yellow sided, and we would spill them, and there would be 2 groups. So I would say to the students, can somebody tell me how many groups we have and how many how many colors are in each group? So this was extremely helpful because it allowed the students to see the difference between the 2 groups, and then they were able to use that vocabulary, say that, there's 2 groups, and they were able to separate it perfectly. And lastly, I used Mrs. Pulitz's short model lesson plan. So I used this because at the end of the day, I finished up my lesson plans, and this was extremely helpful because I was able to kind of compare them and make sure that I was on the best kind of road and pretty similar to what Mrs. Politza did. So yeah, there you have it.